doing nothing is no option, and postponing is no option. But transformation to a low-carbon society in 2050 brings its own challenges, as I already mentioned. We need technology leading to innovation. But this transition brings also something else, because companies and jobs will disappear. There are new ones to come, for sure. And there's the need for new business models and for education and training. And we need deep changes at system level. So this socio-economic transformation of society is as important as the technological transition will be.
The fact that we are implementing what we have said in Paris that we would do. We said in Paris that we would reduce emissions by at least 40% greenhouse gas emissions. And I think the last 2 years in Brussels have been quite active to develop the policies that will deliver these kinds of reductions.
Well, I think it's that innovation is complex, and to understand and make use of a complex thing, you've got to break it down and understand all the components. And that really that spans not just technological evolution, but the whole process of change in business models, in financing models, in the institutions around them.
This is a graphic on the current framework, with different policies, different sectors. You can see the sectors, the objectives, and how the different legislation are interrelated. Because contextual differences within the EU are on in-depth, I would say that the governance framework needs to be robust and to be resilient.
So these factors and changes to the factors may positively or negatively affect the policy outcome, and also there are some examples of mixed effects. So we think that probably some better understanding about these factors, how they work, and how they interact could make the policymakers better prepared.
Especially institutional coordination, alignment with non-climate policies and constellation of stakeholders from Mariko's presentations. Those three factors had the attention in the first place, as it had turned out to be the biggest challenges during the last few years.
I think if we look at innovation first, in most of the larger companies, innovation is actually driven by customer need. And much of what I'm saying is very obvious, but it's amazing how it gets forgotten or neglected. It's driven by customer need, cost saving, either to the customer themselves or the company, or for both, regulation, or of course a combination of all these. And of course, as a company, you hope that the result of the innovation is going to actually let you outperform your competitors.
What I want to do today is just to suggest that one of the most important groups of stakeholders in Europe at the moment are the small and medium enterprises, for a host of reasons. The first reason is obvious to everybody, particularly, I hope, to the policymakers in the European Commission, and is the fact that they are the broad majority of our economy, however you measure it.
When you, for instance, you are talking about success factors of your policy, one of them is human behavior and human acceptance, social acceptance, and that's something that is not always being looked at.
Because I think that's one thing that struck me the whole day. We were talking about technologies, social innovation, policies, etc., but at the end it always goes back to the people.
So recently an interesting thing happened in the context of the governance regulation here in Brussels, where the European Parliament started talking about a net zero target to politically back that. And whether we have that target or a 95% emission reduction target, in any case it really is a game changer because there are not really any residual emissions left, or in any case very little. So it means that all sectors across the economy we need to change.
What it really shows is that innovation overall is
many have said, it's very complex. It involves many worlds, and it involves many worlds beyond the pure R&D as we might normally think about it.
I think it's extremely important that globally capacity is built around low carbon technologies, and that is cannot be overemphasized, the importance of that. And for that you need a collaboration, you need mutual trust, and you need continuity in research.
Increasingly, especially within the last 10-15 years, we are seeing that R&D is being undertaken at a much more globalized level, not only involving sort of the classical actors in innovation from Europe, the US and Japan and so forth, but we are looking at emerging economies, a number of these, as becoming more prominent actors in the global R&D, including in climate technologies.
Do something with what the results of CARISMA are. And one of the main things is the interface between policymakers and science. I think this is something that has been underestimated in the last years, and this is where CARISMA, with the outcome and the results of CARISMA, can be very, very important.
It's not that easy to navigate the science policy landscape interface. It's not easy as a researcher to be relevant.
It just doesn't work that way, that we have researchers who are making the discoveries and then telling the decision makers, here's your solution, and then the decision maker will implement it. That's not how the world works. It's much more an interaction between research and policymakers, decision makers, and we've been trying to navigate that.
There's a lot of in contextual factors and regional factors that play a role in policy making. And we know that, but then it's the next question: what should we do then again in policy making?
We will build upon CARISMA. I think CARISMA did a wonderful job in getting all these topics on the table. We will bring them further within the new constellation of the European Decarbonization Pathways Initiative. And that's more on that content part, but there are also very nice deliverables in the sense of that website that has been built, climatemitigation.eu. We will take it over from CARISMA, and we will bring that further. So hopefully we are as successful as CARISMA was.
So, with that, I will hand over this sort of symbolic platform to Adriaan.